Hey guys, welcome back to Rewatch Movie. I'm Mike,
I'm Jay.
and we've been talking about it. People have been asking us to do it. Months ago, someone asked me, they're like, hey, are you guys going to rank the Halloween movies? And
No, I hate Friday the 13th.
I'm
I
like,
mean, what?
listen, Harry Sasquatch, we fucking did that already. And then I look back and I was like, oh my God, we've never ranked, of all the Halloween, we've been doing Halloween videos for 6 fucking years,
That's
guys.
crazy, I know.
We've never ranked the series. So we thought, you
Well,
know
it's like
what?
trying to say which is your favorite kid.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like, the thing is it's Halloween 2018 came out, and we wanted to wait till that was over. It's Halloween Horror Month. It's Halloween right now, live recording this. The
Halloweeny.
live stream's on the Patreon. And what better day to fucking do this than we can include Halloween 2018 into the fray.
hmm
We've agreed on a list. We fought. We arm
We did
wrestled.
some kickboxer shit.
We slowly tickled each other's butts with a feather.
Well, that was my
And
feather that you borrowed, quote unquote.
we were on a break. We decided on a list, just one list. We're gonna start at the lowest totem pole
Why always go low?
because it's
Why you
better.
always tell me to go fuck a goat, man?
We're trying to end on a high note, dog.
That's good.
So all right, so here we go.
It's
So
like our fucking podcast.
the worst movie in the Halloween franchise.
This is actually a really interesting topic here because I know a lot of people. I saw a couple of comments that were like, "What's worse, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 or Resurrection?" And this was actually it's pretty debatable. You know, which one kind of butt fuck sideways the Halloween franchise. But honestly, man, and this is gonna surprise some people. I think Friday the 13th Part 2 was not that good. I like Part 2, but no, we settled on Resurrection as being the worst.
Yeah.
Halloween movie of all franchise.
Many thought, deep into the annals of history,
Somewhere in the
Anal.
distance.
That our last movie would totally be Rob Zombie's H2.
Mhm.
And another thing I want to reference before we get into this list is this is not. We're not saying what the best movies are. That's always up for discussion for whoever's
Yeah,
watching.
it's
Or how you feel
subjective.
about it.
Yeah.
It's our favorites. This is our favorite list. Like not what the better movie is, because if you put what's the better movie, what's made better, or what's created better, just as a filmmaking production, the list would probably be switched around.
It's
a
like
little
when
bit.
you buy your first car and your dad tells you you can't drive. Like, it's my car, Dad. I bought it.
But yeah, our last, the worst movie of the Halloween franchise to both of us is Halloween Resurrection. Now, the beginning's good in a way because you got Jamie Lee Curtis,
Yes.
and it's bittersweet though because it's such a good scene to have her and Michael one on one. The movie starts out really good at the mental hospital with all that's going on there. You got the fat clown guy that's like Michael Andre Myers.
Dahmer. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, Don Wayne Gacy.
That guy jerks
Like,
off to
even
Charles
though
Manson.
he
So
puts the lotion in the basket. As much as I like Jamie Lee Curtis's little cameo in that's all I can say. It's a cameo.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like spectacular enough for her to go out on a high note. Like, I felt like it was very like throwaway the way her death was because
it
I
was
think
cathartic.
well, I mean, I think that what
She was hanging in the balance and trying to
you
find a
are
balance.
not watching fucking what's that
That one scene was okay.
Ricky Lake anymore. Well, yeah, but look, the thing is, it was okay, but I felt like Jamie Lee Curtis was done after H2O. Like, she thought she was over, and like the way that she looked, the way that she was like just stringy hair, kind of in a nightgown thing. That's probably how she felt when they said we're doing a resurrection.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh fuck. So she probably just woke out of bed and like, okay, let's just get this over with. It just felt to me like Jamie Lee Curtis is a great actress anyway, so she could just sleepwalk through the scene. But to me, it felt very anticlimactic to the
Yeah.
character of Laurie
Well,
Strode.
she said it herself. She felt obligated to end the character. She came back in Halloween 2 to end the character. She came back in H2O to end the character. When they fucked her with the script, they fuck you at the drive-through.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck
When
you.
they fucked her in the script and told her, actually, you're not going to kill him because I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Malek has almost a book of Halloween rules, is the lore.
Mm.
And one of those rules is that you cannot ever kill Michael Myers.
And you can't eat Taco Bell on a Tuesday.
So, so to cut his head off and end it was that. But she was pissed, and she even said, like, when I was filming H2O, after I found out what they were going to do, she was like, I literally checked out. I just did it for a paycheck.
Yeah, and as a fan of the franchise, it really, like, to me, it's embarrassing. Like, just overall, like, it's like you love Halloween so much, and then Jamie Lee Curtis as being such a linchpin of that series, coming back and saying, look, they treated me with respect, and they did all this cool stuff for me to make H2O, and then they still, oh yeah, you still got to come back. for H8. It's like fucking like, you know, you invited some people over you'd never met before, or like kind of friends from work, and you have this really nice house, but then they
And
show
then
up
you're like, listen to my SoundCloud rap album.
or you do something stupid when you're drunk, and you're like, hey, look at my butthole.
Yeah.
And like you're like, oh fuck.
Look, I can suck farts into my butt.
And then blow farts back out. And you're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. But yeah, it really was embarrassing. But that's really the only golden point of that entire movie. The rest of it is Busta Rhymes doing bullshit karate moves, jacking off on the track, fucking probably trying to come up with something that can beat Tupac Shakur. And it's never going to happen.
Fuck your bitch and the click you claim.
Oh my God. And yeah, it just never, like, and that's what people remember. Like, honestly, that's what people remember. They remember Busta Rhymes beating Michael's ass in karate bullshit. And they even considered it, I think I read somewhere that they wanted Busta Rhymes to be the hero of the franchise. Or of the movie anyway. And I'm like, of course you did, because the motherfucker threatened you with Suge Knight.
What blows my mind about it. What blows my mind about
I'm sure you didn't know Suge Knight.
I don't even think they were out of the same factions.
Okay, cool. It's wrestling.
But no, it's H8's so fucked up because Rick Rosenthal directed it. The guy who directed Halloween 2. You would have thought he had some
He directed Lethal Weapon
on the pulse of the franchise. He doesn't look that much far from Richard Donner. But the thing is, you would have thought he had his finger on the pulse of the franchise. But what this movie felt like, and what I'm willing to bet, and I have no insider knowledge whatsoever, I'll fully admit that with my pants off. But
with your pants on?
Yeah. But no, I mean, I think that either the studio was pushing him to make a hip movie, or maybe, a lot of times people take movies in Hollywood. A lot of times people take movies in Hollywood because their daughter liked this rapper or liked this person in it or liked this song or whatever. Like, I feel like he took that movie and for some weird reason he wanted to make this hip hop Halloween, which makes no sense.
Well, no, it does, because for the time, what was popular was MTV Road Rules, Real World shit, Singled Out, all that stuff was popular at that time. So they were just taking and cashing in on the popular genres of that decade. And they're like, hey, you know what? This makes fucking sense. Let's just do this shit and screw the franchise right in the booty hole. And I don't care about Michael Myers. Yeah, it was literally every other MTV show you've ever seen. It could have been produced by MTV and there'd been no difference.
Yeah.
And that was the problem. I think that once you give in to
MTV
whatever's popular, it does, actually. I would love to watch fucking The Marine Part 2 over this. With fucking Sean Cena.
Dun, 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 dun.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, it fucked up everything. I mean, honestly, he was a bitch in the movie. When Busta Rhymes pokes you in the hand, like, you get that, dog? You get that? Go behind the fucking, I left the door open for you. And then Michael just walks away with his Sum 41 mask.
Yeah, he punked out Michael Myers.
I'm like, forget it. You know what? At this point, suck a dick. I don't want to
That's what I was thinking too. Suck a dick.
Yeah.
But yeah, and here's the thing. The only one thing that almost made us actually put Resurrection over H2, Rob Zombie's H2, is that the one thing this movie had going for it, apart from the Jamie Lee Curtis opening, was that Michael Myers was at least still a version of Michael Myers. He still wore a
version?
A version 2.0, software version 7.0.
Creature stole my Twinkie.
But, he was at least a version of Michael Myers. He still wore the mask. He still killed people in the same way. It's just that he got fucking karate chopped and roundhouse kicked by Busta goddamn Rhymes.
And then electrocuted. Yeah. By the way, I want to point out, surprisingly, there's a lot of people that actually enjoy that mask from Resurrection.
It's not the worst.
It's not. You know what? I don't like it. I think it's bullshit. He looks like goddamn Cher after 3 plastic surgeries, but at least it's still maintainable. And I know that they had said that they went back and tried to do the original mask and they just added obvious makeup to it. It's makeup. It looks more contoured. It's still shit. But yeah, I guess maybe I could see the mask isn't the most terrible mask. I think, honestly, the worst. You know what? I'm not going to tell you that because I think that we should save a video for the best masks to the worst masks.
Yeah, well, we did that. We already ranked
another one.
What's wrong with you?
Well, we have the 2018 one now.
You don't live here anymore.
Never mind, fuck it.
That leads us right into our number 10 movie, our second worst, and a very close, second worst Halloween film of all time is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, H2. And
the redneck reunion at Rob Zombie's house is complete.
This is Waffle House / fucking strippers live.
It really is Waffle House. At 3 o'clock in the morning when you're drunk and you just go to Waffle House, you see while Rob Zombie was going.
At least at Waffle House you get a good food. At this diner they serve dog.
It was fucking nasty.
And you have to watch Myers eat every goddamn organ right in your fucking face. You can feel
take it, dog.
His goddamn bed bugs fueled fucking cheekbones rubbing on your face. This movie is so goddamn close to your face. Yeah, I mean, dude, it's just Rob Zombie, and we just did all the reviews for these. But the thing, for what the reason this movie's not the worst in my opinion is because it's got these moments of if it weren't a Halloween film, it would be a sort of cool, just fucking crazy ass fever dream of a movie. And he's got interesting takes at times. There's the opening where Michael Myers looks really fucking
That's
badass,
amazing.
and
Yeah.
he's just tearing through shit. He's really angry. The only problem there is you can hear
That's
him
how I feel when I
grunting
go to work.
like he's eating a Waffle House
Yeah.
smothered all the way. But the problem is though is that it commits the most cardinal sin. It commits the worst cardinal sin of any film in this fucking franchise. In that, Rob Zombie, despite what the movie had going for it and how batshit crazy it was, he ruined Michael Myers and he ruined Dr. Loomis,
Well,
and he sort of ruined Laurie Strode.
Yeah, H2 is better than Resurrection for me, just because the first 30 minutes of the movie overall kills Resurrection outright. I think that Resurrection, compared to the first 30 minutes of that Rob Zombie H2, is dog shit compared to that. So Rob Zombie wins in that regard. However, when Rob Zombie is sticking a middle finger up to everybody else and saying, I can do it better than you, and I don't need your approval, Dad. Fuck you. I'm going out Saturday night with fucking Sheila. That's what it felt like. It felt like Rob Zombie was rebelling against the fact that a lot of people didn't like his version of Halloween, and it felt very much like some sultry ass bitch boy teen in his rebel years saying, "I'll make it what my own fucking
I
tits
swear to
feel
God,
like."
I'm putting metal posters all over my fucking room. Slayer,
It's
fuck
redneck
it.
as shit. He's
I'm putting
not.
Slayer on my
But you
microwave.
know what? Honestly, even if it wasn't a Rob Zombie Halloween production, if it was just a movie, I would say it was a terrible movie.
No, I disagree with that.
I know you liked it. I thought overall the movie just sucked balls. Like, you throw unicorns in there,
Ballsinis.
you throw a fucking, I don't know, Alice in Wonderland. They're sitting at a table eating like shit, and then with fat giant faces that look like you would see it in a goddamn carnival, and then Laurie Strode. Like, dude, even as a movie itself, it's like the trippiest acid trip ever. But you're like, hey, you know what? I'm high as fuck, so I'm okay with it. But when you're sober and you watch it, you're like, I feel dirty, and I should never. I'm going to church because it doesn't. But there's nothing horror related to me about it. There's nothing good about it. There's nothing storytelling wise good about it. I just think overall the only cool thing about that saves it over Resurrection is the first 30 minutes when he has the mask on and he's fucking shit up. Otherwise, it's just I think it's Rob Zombie working out his demons. Like, I think he could go on fucking Dr. Phil and
I
do the
bet
same
he
thing.
has some smelly shits.
He has a dirty underwear.
But
I guarantee it's Fruit Loops. He
Look,
wears tiny whities.
you made Michael Myers a hobo in a fucking field for half the movie. You ripped off. You had a stripper of all things rip
His
off
wife.
half of his mask. You killed your wife in the first movie because you didn't think you were gonna make a sequel, or you thought maybe she'll give me a break if I make it. I was like, look, honey, I wrote you off in an awesome way. You're dead. But she forced him, and who knows how? Actually, I'm joking, but she had to be in the movie, so he had to turn Michael Myers, as you said, into Jason Voorhees and kill for mommy. And he didn't even bring back Dave Ferris.
There was
from the
nothing
first
there.
movie.
Well, there was nothing even new. Like what he was doing. Again, I really think it was just him rebelling against the system, quote unquote,
Yeah.
and trying to be a badass and saying, "I'll do it my way, and it's going to be great." And then realizing, you know what? I have a dick in my ass, and I suck ass.
I bet he still
But you know
burns
what?
his sister's baby dolls.
But Rob Zombie, again, despite the movie shortcomings, despite it being dog shit that you stepped in, he is. I think what makes us so mad about him, he is a good cinematographer. Like, he knows how to get from certain scenes what is really good and graphic,
It looks good.
but violent. But the kind of combination you need,
Yeah.
he's got that in spades. He just doesn't know how to tell it together or congeal it. And the problem with him is that I think he doesn't want to listen to anybody's opinion on what's good and what's not. Like, he's raw. And I think as a raw director, he's good, but he has no patience to learn to get better. So
what he needs is for a Henry Rollins big ass fucking stubborn writer to write a great fucking movie, have it be a blacklist fucking just amazing script, and for the studio to go in and be like, Rob Zombie's directing, but we're giving the writer all the say so, and the writer's going to be on set all day long. And Rob Zombie, you're not allowed to do fucking anything that the writer deems unnecessary. Let Rob Zombie film that bitch and really go after his talents and make it look amazing and make it visceral and do all the things he's so good at. It's so disappointing that he makes such shit films because he's such a good director. If you just take his need to be this fucking goth kid lighting shit on fire at the mall redneck trash trailer personality out of him, he can do amazing things.
That's the thing.
But he's just so mad at his
Mike
dad.
and I feel like we're on the Jedi Council, and he's Anakin Skywalker. There's so much hope for you, Anakin.
But
you thought away to the darkness.
And the worst thing he did, obviously, was he made Loomis a sniveling little
that's
QVC
unforgivable.
bitch.
Yeah, like I mean, I don't even know what he was doing. Like, I mean, he's seen like apparently Rob Zombie loved Halloween, and so Dr. Loomis is so beloved by many fans that are hardcore Halloween fans. He just made him the most butt-licking asshole you've ever seen in your life. And it continued on. Like, he made him worse and worse and worse. And then out of left field, he sees it on the TV. Oh, my God, they cornered Michael in a barn. I got to go save the day.
You're such an asshole.
It doesn't matter. God, take off the mask, Michael. But, yeah, it was terrible. But it's better than Resurrection, so I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that's the thing. At the end of the day, Rob Zombie was pissed because any Halloween movie, there's going to be backlash. It's such a big property.
Big middle finger.
But he was pissed at people's reaction to his movie, even though a lot of it was good. And he thought, I'm going to give them a big middle finger.
Well, I also think
I'm going to fuck up everything I can about this Halloween
franchise.
Let me ask you a question. Because I'm mad.
Do you think that it had something to do with the fact that John Carpenter really wasn't behind it? Like John Carpenter said, I told
him to do his own thing.
Well, I know. I watched the interview on YouTube, and that's what he said. He said, I talked to John just out of respect. I told him we were going to remake the movie, and he was like, do your own thing, make it yours. Yeah. But it never felt like John Carpenter was like, I'm fully on board with this. Because I think that John Carpenter knew Rob Zombie, at least what his films were, and he was like, you're an exploitation motherfucker. You're a guy that lives off Grindhouse like it's a heroin vein, and that's what you're doing. And he's like, I'm not into that. Because John Carpenter was probably thinking, I'm a filmmaker. I like to take like great scenes and build them up with suspense. Very little blood. I don't need that blood. I don't need to use it, and I can make a great story. You're a guy that uses shock factor to get your point across. House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects. You do those things, and I know there are fans of it, and that's fine if you're a fan of that. I'm just saying, like John Carpenter's probably thinking, like, hey, you use that as a way to get audience people or asses in the seat because you want to do something shocking. And he's like, I don't need to do that. I can just make a great story. So I think a lot of it was like, Dad didn't approve. Daddy didn't love me.
Yeah. Which, John Carpenter, he said it himself, not even talking about Rob Zombie. He was like, if I could give any advice to any filmmaker, it'd be like, make your vision. Because if you're not going to make your vision, why are you even alive? I mean, that's pretty much, that's the subtext of what he said. But that's basically the idea of it. Dude, Rob Zombie man, you got so much talent. You just need to grow up deep down.
Grow up, son. Mow the lawn.
And that's us saying that. That's bad, bro. So the next worst film in the franchise, but again, I put that above H8 because I felt like as a movie, it's this weird fever dream and it's kind of cool at times, and I want it to be so good, and it's just not. Number 9, Halloween 5.
Well, I love Michael getting off the tractor at John Deere with his long fucking hair and elongated mask and just killing people with pitchforks or pickaxes or whatever the fuck that thing was called when you get hay with. Like, I don't know what that thing...
a swishy swish.
Whatever. I don't farm, so I don't know
it's
that.
It's a smush smortion.
Yeah. You know what? Halloween 5, it's a mess. It's a terrible fucking fever dream that just happened. Like, it's there. Danielle Harris is back. She's a great kid actor, by the way. Amazing actress overall. But she's at least there. But when you get Michael with that stupid fucking mask, and you introduced the cowboy boots, Alan Jackson, walking around, not really fucking knowing
Go way down here, Chad.
not knowing what he's gonna do, not knowing what he's about. And you're building up this atmosphere and this thing about Michael, and then nothing pays off at the end. You're just like, what the shit did I just wipe with? Because I know I just used toilet paper from a prison.
You know what?
But at least my ass got wiped. Now, the thing about Halloween 5, at least, I will say, at least, it does maintain the vein of what Michael Myers is to a degree. Like, when you watch the movie, it sucks ass, it sucks balls, but at least it's still a shitty Halloween Michael Myers movie. It's not a Rob Zombie version, and it's not Resurrection.
Yeah, it's a bad Michael Myers movie. But the mask is the worst, right? The mask is the worst thing. If they got the mask right, it would have been way better.
Looks like a guy's telling you to get off his lawn.
What I love about Halloween 5 is it has the same DNA at times as Halloween 4. Now, part of that's because they started the Man in Black thing. It's still got Danielle Harris in it. It's got that. It's directly connected to Halloween 4. It just is. So it does have that DNA a little bit. And there's moments in the film that I really like. I still like how crazy Loomis is. We both love it. We both love the ending. Yeah. When Loomis it's one of our favorite Halloween endings. When Loomis is beating him with that 2x4, and he in a sense, at least nearly, he has a stroke and almost dies right on
If
time
they
with
went
Michael.
out that way, that would have been all right. Like that
Yeah.
would have been all right.
And to be fair, the filmmakers had this whole bullshit thing to deal with where at the end of 4, as good as 4 is, they left it with Jamie standing up there with a knife having just stabbed her stepmom and acted like at the end of 4 like Michael had passed the curse, like Jamie's supposed to be the new Michael, and that's what that writer wanted. He wanted them to take that and move on with it. Now, to Halloween 5's credit, they stole that back a little bit. Yeah, they had to go telekinesis and have Michael and Jamie have the stupid connection, which is always a mistake. But they had to do something to take that storyline out, and they did. Maybe the biggest crime after The Mask is that they killed Rachel so early, and she was such a good
A lot of
characterization.
people love her,
Yeah.
and also the fact that who was it? Tina.
Tina.
Tina was a dog shit character. Like
Yeah.
she was like the most uncaring slut you could pick, except for my ex-wife. She sucked. Daniel Harris was great. Donald Pleasance amazing again.
Did have Cookie Woman in it.
Cookie Woman was the greatest invention of all time.
Cookie Woman.
There was nothing really to anchor yourself onto except for Donald Pleasance and Danielle Harris, and even their great acting performances didn't save the film overall. Like I still felt it was a rushed film. It felt very rushed. It felt like something that a studio cooked up really quick. And like we got to get this out at a certain time. We got to put it. It felt like a Saw movie in some ways. Like
Let's just give it to Philippe and let him
yeah,
go.
like Philippe will do it and let Philippe go. Philippe will turn the camera on and just go. And then, at the end of the day, you got a half baked product. Like you didn't get something. It's like they didn't even let an editor look at it. They didn't let anybody like proofread or anything. They just like, we'll take the rough fucking draft where it has like coffee stains on it, maybe a dog turd or something, and we'll use that script.
I've got varicose veins.
Yeah, and we'll just use that script and go with it. But like again, the best parts of it was Daniel Harris and Dr. Loomis just being full on boner-rific crazy. But it is what it is. I can accept it and I watch it, but it's just
it takes the sins of 4 and doesn't learn from him. It interjects. They thought the movie was so shitty on their own. They interjected random Man in Black. They interjected that terrible ending where they put Michael Myers in a jail cell, still wearing his mask, and he's like fiddling with his coattails.
So you're telling me that when you're arrested, you just they leave your fucking mask on. And by the way,
Michael Myers cries.
The psychic X-Men bullshit really killed it. That was one of the worst.
Which 4 brought that in.
It did. It brought it at the end, but at least it didn't bring it in full circle like 5 did. But.
Yeah, and there's good kills in it. Mikey gets the fucking the hatchet thing to the hoe and to the face.
Well, yeah, and I do like the fact that Michael Myers was like making sure that he understood. Like, I don't give a shit about your wax job, dog. Like,
fuck your couch.
And he Michael was pretty vicious in 5, but it wasn't Michael Myers. Like it just looked like a neighbor that says, "Stay off my fucking lawn."
And I like the barn kills. The kids having sex in the barn, and then he comes in with his fucking.
It was cool.
Swishy McSwisher.
But then you feel like Friday the 13th.
Yeah, and you also got the cool mask switch where he's wearing the other mask, and Tina's like, "Give me some fucking cigarettes," and he hits the brakes. That shit's fun.
I didn't like that though.
It's not good, but it's good for the lore. I'm glad that movie exists. And again, we get knocked for this all the time, how much we love the sequels. But I love the up and down, crazy ass, wacky as fuck lore of the Myers series, and this is one of those entries that it has a lot of really I don't want to say big, but memorable moments. So where it comes to Tina, where it comes to Cookie Woman, where it comes to the guy with the thing in the face,
it definitely has things
crazy
that stand out.
Fucking Reddit.
I guess it does show though that Michael's pretty smart. The fact that maybe Michael knew that they were looking for a guy in a pale white mask, and he changed it off to that Ronald Reagan mask to take that girl. But the fact that she was like, "Michael, I want cigarettes." It's like, it's bad for you. No. And then he was like, "All right, fuck it. I'm going to kill you later, so it doesn't really matter how I feel about your health." And then he reverses that shit and like slams on the brake like every fucking boyfriend would do ever on a date. Like, stop bitching. I just want to have sex.
Let me ask you this though: what's worse, the mask or the cops with the ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-dong?
I think they're equal, man. But I mean, I could say that the cops do throw it in a light that makes the movie like even more shitty. It felt like Roger Moore in James Bond.
Yeah.
Like, I think Halloween 5 to me is Roger Moore's James Bond.
Yeah, it feels like having a cactus stick in your butt.
Well, it was just campy and just bad. Like, you don't want a cactus in your butt. It's itchy.
You don't. So that's Halloween 5. I love Halloween 5 because it's got that Halloween 4 DNA, and it's got some important moments to the series, but it is a shitty fucking movie at the end of the day. Tuck your fucking mask in! For God's sakes, man. Oh Jesus, yeah, Tina was so fucking annoying. All right, so what's next on our listy of listicles? Number 8. This one is gonna
It's gonna change the world.
It's gonna send shockwaves down the nation's
Well,
tailpipes.
okay, so we put H2O as our number 8 slot.
Ooh.
Now I know a lot of people out there right now are liquid. They're liquid in their wieners, and they can't believe that we chose H2O.
I can't believe you've done this
on the low part of the list. But the reason why is because, I mean, I don't want to spend too much time talking about it really, but the reason why it's a very clean ass movie overall. It's a great movie and it's fun, but it's Scream. It's fucking Scream with Michael Myers in it all over the place. And I'll tell you why. They use the same fucking sounds. They use the same music a lot of the times. They're using what's popular of the time. They just do it better than Resurrection did. And it like cinematically when you watch it, it just feels like the cleanest plastic you've ever seen in your life. Like they just wax that bitch forever to make it shiny in the sun. It's plastic.
I was in Walmart with the kids the other day, and I saw a pair of those thick, fuzzy pajama pants, and they had Harley Quinn on them, and she was like, "Ha ha ha!" and it was like triple XL, size or whatever. And I looked at my kid, and I was like, I just talk shit sometimes. I was like, "You want to know how you know something's not cool anymore? Is when it's on fuzzy pajama pants at Walmart."
I think that's even cooler.
When H2 came out, it was cool. It was like Michael's back. There's money behind it. It's going to be. It's a full-on studio thing. It's in theaters. It was the first Halloween movie I saw in theaters. I was excited to see it back. The bathroom scene's cool. There's certain scenes that are cool. Jamie Lee Curtis is back. There's good things about H2O for sure.
LL Cool J.
And it's a Halloween movie with a good amount of money behind it, and you can appreciate that at this point in the franchise. As a fan, I think you can appreciate that because it didn't go Hellraiser, it didn't go anywhere else, but it was so much money behind it that it was a full-on studio cut, fucking edit, slap it on, just generic fucking movie, man. And I do love certain scenes in it. Jamie Lee Curtis holding the axe, yelling for Michael. I love the idea of her cutting his head off at the end. I like the fight.
I hate that.
I like the fight between the two of them at the end where he's flipping tables. That shit's cool. Josh Hartnett is just a weird entry into the franchise.
That's how you feel when your check is late at work and you're just flipping tables. Like, where's my check, bitch?
But I can't find my keys.
There are really cool moments in it that definitely you can remember, and it's fun. And the characters like LL Cool J is really cool. Yeah. Josh Hartnett needs to comb his fucking hair. I did not like him. Michael Myers is dead. I don't like his wooden acting. I never did.
Going to Yosemite.
I didn't really like the Jumanji kid. All those kids are throwaway, I think, for the most part. And I know they're supposed to be, but there's nothing even remotely likable about them. Did you read the Melon Breast?
Melon.
Yeah, I read that too.
Baby, just one more book. I swear.
I didn't like Michael Myers' mask at all. Like this was this was such a fuck up in the studio about what mask they should use. They went through several different versions of it, and when the first trailer was released, I don't know if you guys know this, the alien mask, like where it's like giant eye holes and Michael looks like he's never tasted Cuban coffee in his life before. I mean, it's just like we're surprised. Oh God, that's
he's hitting the nuts and he's like, oh,
this is deep.
I take it to Tony Carinos.
I don't have any nuts left. But yeah, they realized with the test on, it's like, yeah, that mask sucked because it was digital. They put the mask on his face and it was terrible.
But
that's because originally they were going to use this digital mask to make Michael Myers walk around with this bullshit. And then,
they had a mask, and then it sucked, so they tried to fix it.
In the very beginning, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, at the very beginning, they used the H6 mask, which I love the H6 mask. They should have just kept it, and that's it. But no, they changed it. They digitized it. It makes it look like shit.
Another positive thing about it, they do give a good throwback to Loomis.
They do. That is a cool at the very beginning of the movie. But there is one scene. If you guys look closely, I'm sure you guys have seen this. When Michael sticks his arm through the gate trying to slash at Josh Hartnett, if you look through the edits, you can see it. At one point when he's slashing, you can see the digital mask. Yeah. Like the bullshit alien mask they were going to use, and then they cut again and it's a different mask. That's because that was the original fucking mask, and it's terrible. It's like the fact that they even had that kind of debate makes zero sense. Like, oh yeah, let's make it look fucking like an alien. Like,
kind of feels like if Hallmark made the best possible Halloween movie they could ever make.
Yeah, But either way, like the movie is to me is plastic, so I really personally didn't enjoy it that much. But it's okay. I mean, it is what it is.
It's got great things about it. LL Cool J is great. I like the George Clooney lookalike guy. Jamie Lee Curtis.
Mama said knock you out. What he said.
The casting's fun. The feel of it's fun. The excitement behind the movie was fun.
Yeah.
But dude, at the end of the day, the Michael Myers, it's one of my least favorite Michael Myers by far. He was so just goofy and like felt like a clown, you
Yeah,
know.
I
So
didn't like it. I didn't like it, Jim.
all right, so yeah, that's gonna be really low for some people. But you know, I can only be who I am. Number 7 up the list. God, it's weird because I like this movie so much. I even like so much about H2O. But number 7 is Halloween 3: Season of the Witch. You know, there's no fucking Michael. That's a huge. That's a huge.
That's like a negative. That's a huge bitch.
Yeah, that's a huge bargaining point there, Jim. But it did have an amazing fucking. Even though he didn't direct it, it had so much of a John Carpenter feel to this entire movie.
Yeah.
It just drenched John Carpenter. The score, everything else looked like it's got Tom Atkins being one of the most badass characters in movie history. Fuck you, Brett Favre's the greatest quarterback of all time. He just is one of the coolest characters ever.
He's the coolest Wrangler guy I've ever seen.
But you know, it does. Towards the end, the story
I like
gets
his Wrangler
dumb.
commercials.
Story gets dumb as fuck.
Yeah,
It
I
goes
don't
on
even
way
get.
too long.
I don't even know what the ending is.
Yeah.
He wanted to get Stonehenge shit and like bring up black magic and Halloween. I don't even know what went on. It was just a cool movie. It was put together well. Cool soundtrack. Tom Atkins drinks a lot. He reminds me of my dad. He looks like my dad. And thank God for people that do that in bars.
You know,
that
Halloween.
smoke cigarettes and say, "Hey, come here. I got a secret to tell you."
Where do you want to sleep, Dr. Chalice?
In your bed? Because that's a stupid question.
You know, Halloween 3 it's a good movie. I enjoy the fuck out of Halloween 3. I like it a lot. But
I think over the years
just
it's gotten more popular though.
Yeah, it's a movie. Let me rephrase that. It's a really enjoyable movie that I absolutely love and adore. Not a very good movie though. Like when you really just like put it up under a microscope, it's got so many fucking problems. But it's fun. It's got great atmosphere to it. I love the movie for what it is. Number 6, beating out Halloween 3, partly because of Michael Myers, partly because it's a pretty damn good movie. Despite the bad decisions they make with the beginnings, is Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Again, it goes back to show that if Rob Zombie has a leash on him and somebody is like directing him in the right way, he can do a good job. Like he has the capability to be a great director and tell a really good story if somebody is fucking doing it for him, or at least controlling him, or at least narrating him to a point where he's like, okay, I get what you're going here. And if he listens, the first 35, 40 minutes of that movie is bullshit. It's redneck garbage. It's like I could see that every day on the side street of where I live. Like it's in Kentucky. It's bullshit stuff. Don't need the backstory of Michael Myers. It's obvious to anybody, if you go through what Michael Myers went through as far as Rob Zombie is concerned, anybody might become a serial killer. He was skinning fucking cats. He was looking at their buttholes, probably smelling his finger after he picked his own butthole. He had a stripper mom. He had take that damn thing off as a stepdad. He had a shitty sister. He was going to school getting bullied. I mean, okay, so, I'm surprised that he became a serial killer. I can't believe it, Jim.
The worst part about this entire movie is that Rob Zombie, through his eyes, as good as a filmmaker as he can be, he looks at Halloween and Michael Myers and just misses completely all the nuance that makes Michael Myers what the fuck he is.
Right.
He looks at him and goes, man, it's real cool. He wears a scary mask and stabs people.
He stabs people on back of trucks
fucking
and shit.
throat. He completely misses the fact that this kid went psycho out of nowhere and kills at random and nobody knows why. Nobody knows why supernatural, maybe. Nobody knows why he does what he does or the force that drives him. Think about this. And again, we like this movie. But at the same time, think about this. If Michael Myers was just a kid who grew up in a shitty house with a shitty dad.
With Simple Plan playing.
Yeah.
I'm just a kid.
Take that damn thing
life
off.
is a nightmare.
With a shitty fucking dad and a shitty family life. And that's what led him to kill and become a psychopath like so many other everyday psychopath serial killers.
Right.
What at some point in the franchise, even in Rob Zombies, he becomes supernatural. So what does that lend to him becoming supernatural? Like, oh, he's a super redneck? I mean, he had
he drank too many Bud Lights,
he had a super trashy upbringing. Like, where did that come in?
Too many.
The essence of Michael Myers has to come from that possible supernatural feel where you don't know why it happened. And he ruined that. But it's a really good movie.
It
apart
is.
From that.
The music is solid. Michael's vicious as fuck. He's big as hell. He's bigger than. He looks like he could lift 2 Mack trucks and smash them together and play with them like Legos.
Let me pass this piece.
I do think that's really cool that they made Michael so big ass as fuck. And
Tyler Mane's great.
Yeah, amazing. He moved good. The mask looked okay. I actually was down with the mask. It made sense. And the cinematography, the way they shot Michael moving around and killing people was really cool. overall. And then you have, Scout Taylor Compton, who did a great job in her role. The supporting cast is amazing. Yet Danielle Harris finally getting the recognition that she deserves, being in a Halloween movie in this scope. That was all great and good. And there were moments I'm like, Rob Zombie's doing really good with this. Like, as far as what he's capturing with the three girls walking back from school and kind of doing the same thing that John Carpenter did, but in kind of an updated way. It's trashy. That's Rob Zombie because he looks like he smells like farts. But it's still okay. It still worked for the time, and it still was working for the movie overall. However, it does have problems, and I think the biggest problem would be the fact that he looks like every other fucking asshole that you've ever been bullied by in high school. Getting a mask on and whooping your ass. But now,
Tom said it best. She did finger bang a bagel.
Okay, well that gives her 10 cool points right there. I mean, that just
Criminals
happens.
are hot.
But anyhow, yeah, I mean, I like the movie, and it's a solid movie. As far as like it gave Michael balls back after Resurrection, and for that, it'll always hold a special place in my heart for that reason alone.
Definitely. Yeah, he did make Michael Myers a big badass son of a bitch. And even though we absolutely hate and are disgusted by the backstory, Rob Zombie did a lot of amazing things with this movie. And you know what? He really lucked out in the casting. Malcolm McDowell's Loomis was great. Having never seen a Halloween movie, the casting was top notch. I thought that Brackett was amazing.
Oh yeah, he was the best.
Bringing back Danielle Harris was so cool, and that was a great job. And there's a lot of things he did.
Brad Dourif was amazing,
really,
no matter what. Yeah.
Well in this movie, but it's such a good movie. It's such a well-made movie that ranks so low on the list because you just really swung and missed at what makes Michael Myers Michael Myers. So,
okay.
Thanks,
fortune cookie, that I'll
Jim.
never read again.
Oh my God. All right, here's what has to happen, Jay.
Oh, yeah, this is going to get rough.
This is what has to happen.
This is going to get rough.
Now we're getting into the top 5, and we love the Halloween movies, even the shitty ones, like apart from maybe H2, H8. From there up, I have a lot of deep love for every single one of these movies. But we're getting into the hard stuff, the stuff that you got to pick your favorites over your favorites. So we're going to name it real quick.
This is where Purple Hearts are made.
This is something we have to do for each other right now, Jay, because I'm not going to lie.
I'm not.
The Bud Light is going deep into my system, and I have to pee so bad.
I've been crossing my legs for 5 minutes.
If this was a Rob Zombie film, I would just do it I would piss on the microphone.
You would make a fucking stream.
Yeah, you'd hear it, and I'd say fuck a lot.
Yeah.
Which we probably already
do that already.
But I'm going to name it. I'm going to let you go through it while I tinkle in the Taylor pipe.
Well, I got to go tinkle in the
Taylor pipe. I'm going first. It was my idea.
Fuck, dude. I've been crossing my legs for... All right,
that's
fine.
just what you do. Number 5. The number 5 movie. It's going to be so low for some of you guys.
Dude.
You're
leaving me with this, dude.
Number 5.
You're a whore.
1981, Halloween 2.
So, yeah, Jason's great. And the reason why... Okay, so seriously. Okay, I don't know how to put this into words that you might understand. I know that it's low as far it's in the top 5, right? It's in the top 5. We appreciate the fuck out of that movie. We love that movie. But Halloween 2 to me has always been a really great movie. Like I've watched it, but it's one of those movies that I've watched and then sometimes I just forget certain scenes from it. Like I don't know why that happens, but you can I can memorize tons of dialogue or scenes or specific moments of Michael Myers and all the other movies that came before and after Halloween 2. Well, there'd be only one because it's Halloween 2. But for some reason, this movie doesn't really gel for some reason with me. I love it. I love the fuck out of it. And when you watch it, you're oh my God, it's so cool. There were some things I don't know. I guess in some ways it wasn't memorable, except for the very last part where Michael gets his eye shot out. Then he gets blown the fuck up by Loomis because Loomis quit smoking. And then he's like, hey, guess what? I'm going to smoke again. Fuck it. And then he lights the Bic lighter. However, I just didn't like the fact also that Michael was walking around with a scalpel. I wanted to see the butcher knives. However, the hospital scenes are really cool. Now and also I think that this is the first time they used a techno kind of theme music for Halloween. And I didn't like that shit. I didn't like that Psycho 3.
Oh, I like the synthesizer.
I bet you did. How did John's dick taste?
I enjoyed it in my butt.
Good. But yeah, I just I didn't enjoy that. However, as far as a narrative part of the movie, from the very beginning of the movie and it continues on to the second one, they flow together really well. The second and the first movie, he gets shot, he runs out, and he's still alive. He's hiding behind alleyways. Loomis is looking for him. He's bleeding. He's Terminator, and he goes to the Elrod house. He does that cool fucking scene, and then
You're really turning me on here, Greg.
It goes, oh, damn. And then, it goes from there. But I don't know, like it's such a good movie, but it's one of those movies again, like you watch and you love it and you love what you're seeing, but you're like, I'm probably not gonna remember this tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things like just you know what I mean? Like and I'm not taking anything away from this movie because again, the movie is solid as shit. It's a really cool ass, great installment for the franchise overall. But and I didn't like the fact that his fucking mask was all stretched down. He looked like all smushy faced. I didn't like that either. But it's one of those movies that you watch. It's really cool, and you like the sequences, and the kills are pretty good. But when you leave the theater, it instantly leaves the next morning. There are some movies you watch and you think about it over and over again. You think about the scenes, you think about this, you think about that. In this one, the only scene that I ever remember, even as a kid, I watched all these movies as a kid, was the scene at the very end of the movie when she shoots both of his eye holes out. What?
No, so it just made me laugh. No, I totally agree with you, man.
I gotta go pee. So.
What are they all this bullshit? And this is the wake. That's what made me laugh. But yeah, I totally agree with what you said. Even though you're not here right now and you're going to pee pee, you're gonna take a pee pee in the toilet. Yeah, man, I can't help it. It's so, and I love it. There's so many cool things that happen in it, but there's just something about it that I don't want to say forgettable. I just want to say non-identifiable. Like, it feels like it feels The Mask is the perfect explanation of what Halloween 2 is to Halloween 1. It's just a stretched out version. There's so much coolness to it. The hospital setting, Michael in the hospital. He did a badass job in some of those scenes. Some of the kills are really good. I mean, the hot tub scene, the kill was great. Ben Tramer's death was just a batshit wild, fucking crazy movie. It was like a 1981 version of the tracking shot from that one episode of True Detective. I mean, just a cool, wacky fucking moment. But there, at the end of the day, it just doesn't do enough. And I love the movie; it's good. The only reason it ranks so low on this list, and it's not really even low, it's the bottom of the great stuff that this franchise does, is it just lingers for too long at certain times. There's just moments where just nothing happens. It's just constant hallway chases or fucking one of the hospital orderlies just talking about nothing. You know, for all the problems with Halloween 3, its characters are really stand out, like, and really memorable and really vibrant. Halloween 2 just had so much dullness inside of it it kind of muddles up the amazing scenes like the ending where Loomis and Michael, blow up together, or when Michael gets shot in the eyes and the blood tears and the slash and Michael walking through the glass and all those cool scenes in the Elrod house. The stuff in the middle just really, really just added this pillowy soft layer of mashed potatoes.
I was listening to everything you said while I was draining my listening.
Made it sort of, just forgettable at times.
Yeah, and that's the sad news about it. Like, I know that people love it, and I know that people will even put it above the 2018 movie. I won't do that. However, as Mike said, very forgettable. And I've said that before. Like, it's just one of those movies that you can just watch. It's a great movie, and you move on in your life. I do think, and I'm going to ask you this question, what you think about this. I do think if they were going to end the movie, though, if they were going to end it, because it technically is Halloween 1 still, right? Because it flows together so well, like the way that those are interjected or are interconnected. If that was the last time you ever saw Michael Myers and Dr. Loomis, like, that's a pretty good hero's death. Dr. Loomis going out with his beast.
And that's what they wanted. And
I would have been fine with that. But you know what? I would have always wanted to see another Michael Myers movie, and I thank God for Return of Michael Myers. But like, I would have been okay with that. If that was the last thing you ever saw of Michael Myers and you never saw it again, I've been okay with it. I mean, you maybe want to like update it later on. Maybe somebody could remake it. But if that was the only 2 movies that they ever did with the franchise with Michael Myers, I'd be like, you know what? I'm kind of down with that. Like, even though I want to see more Michael, everybody wants to see more Michael. Love Michael Jackson, love Michael Stewart, love Michael Myers. I want to see more Michael, but it's an appropriate ending.
I totally agree with what you just said. And the last 2 things I want to say about this movie is that Thom, probably saying your name wrong, Thom Coons in the Patreon chat actually said it perfectly. He said, it's John Carpenter with a 6-pack, writing it in an evening and going against everything he created. But it does hold the nostalgia and the very cool direct continuation of that night. And
I want you to write me a poem tomorrow, and we're gonna have babies.
It's a great way to put it. It really truly
cool. Why don't you be on this channel?
But yeah, I love the movie, and I just want to reiterate again: we're not ranking these by best movies. We're ranking these by our personal favorites in the franchise.
And again, somebody else's Halloween 2 could be above Halloween 1 for whatever fucking reason that is.
You don't know what that is?
No, you don't have a police force.
All right, so moving up, getting really high, really high.
Some people would say they were stoned.
So high.
Oh shit.
Number 4. Number 4 in the franchise for us. Oh, this
is really gonna piss off some people.
And you know what? It was lower than it. There was discussions about this being number 2.
There was a debate.
Right?
There was.
Fuck y'all. It is what it is. Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers.
Oh yeah.
I said it. I ripped off the
Up
band.
top. Okay. Yeah, we fucking we wear dresses.
What?
Yeah, picking each other's butts.
Huh?
Okay, so anyway, look, Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. It was written by a fan. It was funded in a last-ditch effort maybe to save the franchise after Halloween 5 train wreck. And for God's sake, it had amazing viciousness of Michael finally coming to. Now, to me, the story is solid, except I could...
that might be the one thing that's not solid.
No, it's not. No, I say, except there's slippery ground, my son. You must watch your footing. You walk on this lake, and then you realize, hey, it's not all the way frozen. There are moments though that the way it's going, you're like, hey man, they're doing a great fucking job. Like they're getting got Paul Rudd, they got a really cool cast. It's got the energy and the feel of a mid-90s movie, but it's not buying into the bullshit, but it's got like some cool stuff. But then you throw like Dungeons and Dragons bullshit, like dice throw at your face. But you don't want that. But the one thing that stands out to me about this movie overall is the fact that Michael Myers is fucking on fire in this. He's a vicious, badass motherfucking killer, and I love it. And it's like, did you?
Man, I'm so sick. I got ambulances following me around.
Yeah, dude. Like he is without a doubt on a mission. It feels like the first time that Hulk Hogan came back from the NWO and put on his old colors. It's like, I am a real. He
felt like Sting dropping down from the rafters.
Yeah, it was cool. Like it was like, holy shit, this is happening. I gotta go tell it like my 5 friends that I don't really have, but I mean my 2 friends. But yeah, it was like you would call somebody like, oh my god, you gotta watch. You know, it was just a really cool version of Michael I'd never seen before. Now, and you're coming from 5, right? So you're coming from 5. You're having that piece of shit, and then you're having this,
and you're having to ride around what 5 did.
And it's a night and day difference, man. They took what they could with 5 and they incorporated it, but it was that fan. It was that cool fan, and that's why Halloween fans are the coolest, man. Like the fact that they took a fucking train wreck of a movie, and they're like, I'm gonna pull pieces out of this. I'm gonna use that Man in Black they were going for. They didn't really explain what they were doing, but I'm gonna incorporate it into a story about Thorne and Sam Hain and Halloween and what it means and what Michael Myers is, a force behind him and evil. And man, kudos to that, brother. And also the fact that they made Michael Myers basically Suge Knight dangling Vanilla Ice over.
Take a chance. Take a chance.
That's the second time I mentioned Suge Knight. There will not be a third.
I actually mentioned Suge Knight at work last time. We were arguing about Machine Gun Kelly and
you mentioned Suge Knight.
White rappers, and someone mentioned that they like Vanilla Ice, and I was like, yeah, but he got hung upside down off a balcony. Yeah, and it was like, I saw all my shit. And I was like, that's exactly what would happen to all of us if we became rappers. Suge Knight would drop us off a balcony, and we would sign our fortune.
I definitely would.
Definitely.
I have no fight in me.
Halloween 6, you got to realize, guys, that it's a huge bias for us as fans, because that's what we are. It was the only Halloween video that was constantly in stock at Hollywood Video in Winchester, Kentucky during our youth. So we would fucking watch this shit all the fucking time. Constantly just rent it. That fucking blue face on the side with the fucking knife.
That's so cool.
Constantly no one ever wanted to rent it, so we always rented it. For like 99 cents, 5-day rental.
Well shit, it was only 99 cents.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Pop it and lock it.
I used to gather all the quarters I could find out of my parents' stores and be like, I'm gonna rent this.
We rented that movie
as possible.
Yeah.
Dude, one night
nonstop.
it was the fucking best. I rented H6, Jumanji.
You can't even say it right, you stupid
I rented
bitch.
H6, I rented Jumanji, I rented Billy Madison, and I rented Goldeneye all in one day.
It sounds like a good day.
Several other movies.
That's a great
Empire Records.
Oh, that's a great day.
Dude, I had a stack of VHS.
That's a great day of all time.
It was fucking sexy.
Pizza?
Yeah. Oh, and Scream. Scream was the other one too.
You had pizza and you had video games later on. You didn't have to go to school the next day.
My grandma.
Friday night.
My grandma came down two times during I was watching that movie. She came down here in Goldeneye, and she was it was funny because Pierce Brosnan was getting laid by the chick with the strong legs, and she was like, "Oh my god, this is why I can't get into James Bond." She's like, "It's just a womanizer." He said, "But you get diseases running around sleeping with all these women." And then later in the day, I was watching Scream, and she came downstairs, and it was the scene where Stu's like, "Give me the phone, dick," and they're all covered in blood, and she was like, "Oh my god, someone's gonna get AIDS."
Your grandmother walked in
I
at
was
the
like,
worst
"Your
time
brain is
ever.
great." Yeah, but anyways, no. We're biased because it was the movie we watched the most growing up, and but the other two things is that Michael Myers, the strobe light scenes, the coolest Michael
Oh
Myers
God,
maybe
dude,
has ever
ever.
been.
I gotta think ever.
The kills are great. Michael Myers is fucking pissed off. You got that metal fucking
Dude, the soundtrack alone,
yeah.
the reimagining of the theme,
The opening Spike kill with the nurse.
great.
Michael Myers was just a badass, and I thought it was one of Michael Myers' most badass deaths.
Michael
too,
Myers looked like an
'cause
IRS agent.
when he gets hit with that pipe over
Where's
and
my
over
money?
again, like I felt like Paul Rudd. I always felt like that. I was like, dude, just don't stop. Beat him to a fucking pulp. And I felt like I got the ending I wanted. If I was Paul Rudd in that situation, that's what I would have done. Plus, you got the cool Loomis ending, even though it's vague. You know, he died, so it was a nice ambiance to him. I just really like the fucking feel of that movie.
I do think that overall, that
Story
the movie,
broken though.
the story is broken and it's all over the place. But the fact that it looked like Michael was let off the leash for the first time in forever. And I think that this was what Rob Zombie was trying to go for in his version of, or his telling of the Michael Myers saga. But he couldn't really quite capture what made Michael Myers so special. And the fact that they were able to do this with a fan telling the story from his POV, that Michael Myers was still Michael Myers, but he was not contained anymore. Like, he was out on a mission and he was pissed and vengeful. And there was just certain scenes like when Paul Rudd sicks the gun through the gate and you know Michael grabs it like this and he shoots him and then Michael like falls back and his hands start twitching. It just the way that and even like the scene when he's chasing down the last survivor from the fucking hospital massacre that he like strobe light killed everybody and he's like he kind of does like this jog step like you can look if you see Michael he's doing a little jog step he's like I'm going to get you like Michael just seems very happy. I guess that's where I get like so happy and giddy about it because Michael seems giddy. Michael's like, I'm gonna fucking chop titties. Like he's just really happy about doing what he's doing, and I love seeing somebody enjoying their work. And it really felt like Michael Myers at that point was enjoying being Michael Myers for once. Like I'm let off the cage and feel me wrath. And for some reason, I felt like that was
inside you.
a demon came on, and everything was over after that. But yeah, but again, he was very vicious. Dr. Loomis, it was the last time you got to see the late great Donald Pleasance, and he did a phenomenal role. Again, Dr. Loomis and Donald Pleasance go together forever and always. They'll always be connected. You had Paul Rudd. I think it's his first movie that he ever did. He knocked it out of the fucking park. I didn't like that. He was I still it's Paul Rudd. Get me a doctor. There were moments like but it's still Paul Rudd, and I still think Paul Rudd pulled it off. I think Paul Rudd's got dramatic skills, and I think that showed. The redhead chick, I don't know her name. She did a great job as well. Definitely a final girl. Like everybody talks about final girls. I don't think many people mention her though. She's like a really good pick for a final girl. The only thing I didn't like the old lady in the house explaining do you know what Halloween is? He's like, yeah, we get cat. He's like, well, yes. I thought that part was unneeded, and the little kid was annoying. And kill for him, Daddy. I thought that whole thing was stupid. But other than that,
a stomach pounder.
and I also didn't like the producer's cut. I know there's actually a swarming amount of people that are liking the producer's cut. I don't like the fact that he fucked his niece to get a baby.
And that was another thing. They should have brought Danielle Harris back. They fucked up by not bringing Danielle Harris back. That would have been a really cool thing for her.
Solid movie.
And at the end of the day, the part of the reason I love H6 so much is because I love its flaws. H6 is the movie right in the fucking smack middle of the franchise. That it was put there right with all these writing problems going on. You had what happened with the first movie. You had them making, Laurie and Michael Brothers' sister. Then you move on from that. You had the third movie. Then you move on to the fourth movie. You got Jamie going on. They tried to tie everything together. They had to tie in the Man in Black. You've got the Rune storyline. You've got the cult storyline.
Will Smith came in.
You've got the consolation storyline, and it's such a fun piece. You got the producer's cut and the regular cut. It's such a fun piece of like the behind the scenes. What happened with the Halloween franchise? Maybe it's where it all went wrong.
Did that? Yeah.
But at the same time, for me, just being a fan of all the brokenness and all the cracks and ugliness of the franchise, as well as the best parts of the franchise, this movie is kind of like the lightning rod for all of that, and I really love that about it. I love the story behind it.
I think it was a '90s movie without being a '90s movie that had Michael Myers in it. Like that's the best I can say. Like Halloween H2O was a '90s movie. That's a '90s movie. This was a '90s movie without being one. So the next one,
Number 3. Oh, here we go.
Okay, now this is gonna get some panties crotchless or
Powdered toast man.
shoved all the way in that crack that you've got to wedgie for at least 2 days. Our number 3 pick, and again, our personal number 3 pick is Halloween 2018, the newest one that we just fucking watched.
Oh shit, Craig!
Brought Michael Myers back to the forefront with a middle finger saying, "Did you miss me? Heads up, 7-Up," and loving it every day. Like, oh my god, dude, James Hugh Courtney owned that role. Like, he owned that role. Like, I love Nick Castle. Nick Castle will always be the shape. But bringing back Jamie Lee Curtis, having an amazing cast around, and then having James Hugh Courtney do what he did as far as portraying Michael Myers was some of the coolest shit I've ever seen on screen. And to watch it on film, that they had the respect, and they had a great story to tell, and they had great lighting, they had great cinematography, they had great throwbacks, they had winks and nods to previous installments, was great. I mean, it was a fan's wet dream of all time, and just overall solid movie. Like, it didn't only just have great music. The music itself is fucking phenomenal. Like, that thing's a fucking 14 on a scale to 1 to 10. The music was great, but it also had moments of John Carpenter kind of suspense and intrigue and what's going to happen around the corner moments. But then it also had the Rob Zombie things that people wanted, the violent, smash your face into the bathroom stall and tell me how much money you have in your pocket and while I take your butt with a feather kind of shit. He didn't do that. But they had the violent, gory scenes that people, I think, shocked some people because I think that they were like, hey, I didn't know that this was like for men. I thought this was a straight club. I'm straight. Like
Just for men.
walking into a club like, hey, I mean, there's a lot of fuckery in here. But yeah, but still, I mean, dude, the movie, like, leaving, that was the first time in a long time that I've left a movie feeling orgasmic. I had something happen in my
You came,
face.
I saw it.
I saw it, and you did it, and you were happy. But, yeah, like, you leave the theater, and it was one of the first times I've left the theater, or watching a horror movie specifically, it's been a long time, that there's just discussion, like, immediately after the movie. Like, oh, man, this was so cool, and that part was so cool, and this was really amazing, and I wish they'd done this, though, but it was still cool. There wasn't really any... There was some negative stuff about it, but overall, like, as a movie, a whole movie, Jesus, man.
Halloween 2018 met the original Halloween somewhere in the middle with the sequels
Jimmy
and H2O. No, like, what I'm trying to say is that Halloween 2018 was the better version of what H2O was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
You got the best of both worlds. It wasn't, Blumhouse is low budget compared to, like, super tentpole movies. But it wasn't low budget, but it had a decent budget behind it. It was well made. It was crafted well. There was no glaring defects. The mask was great. The special effects were great. The characters were good. The Sartain character had a moment, but it's not a main, it's not a main fucking vein of the franchise. This is a new character they brought in, and if people don't like what they did with him, then what happened happened. But they didn't have, number one, they didn't have any glaring mistakes. So many other great movies. One we haven't talked about yet, Halloween 4, great movie, had a terrible fucking defect in the mask. Halloween 5, the mask. Some things they did with characters. Halloween 2, what he did with Loomis, what they did with
Halloween
Michael,
5,
the Man in Black, the H6 editing. All these movies, almost every
Rob
movie,
Zombie.
almost every movie in the franchise since H1 and H2 had glaring defects, things that broke the movie in weird ways. At least took a disc out of their back. Halloween 2018 didn't have any of those. The only thing you can say about Halloween 2018 is the Sartain storyline, which a lot of people didn't like, but I bring back again. It was a new character, so it wasn't really that big a deal.
Except the left turn they went.
Yeah, it was a new character, so it really wasn't that big of a deal. What Halloween 2018 did and why it's so high on the list is because it's so well made. It was made by people with their finger on the pulse of the franchise. Mm-hmm. They knew and I put a lot of this up to Ryan Turek. Like Blum and all of them gave him credit for this. They were like, there were certain things we went to do, and he told us, you got to realize that if you do this, if you do A, it means B and C for the franchise. They did Michael a service. They added cool new wrinkles in the franchise with the hand situation, with some of the stuff that happened with him and Jamie.
He's gonna get a hook.
You know, they did so many things so well. And at the same time, they paid homage to the old movies without making this a Force Awakens, just remake of the original movie situation. It had some of the same beats. It had some really good fan service in it, but it was so well made, and it had a couple genuinely scary moments. And Michael was top notch, and
The soundtrack.
Jamie Lee Curtis was great. You mentioned the soundtrack already. You know, it had a lot of amazing, amazing things to it. It was just a really well-made movie, and it's one of the best-made movies in the franchise, and it was made with love. Could have been a little bit longer. There's a couple story points that I wish would have went somewhere else. I think this could have been even higher on the list, maybe. Maybe could have used a little bit more Halloween atmosphere in my mind. Now, we forgot to mention when we did the review that the Halloween exploding scene was really fucking cool. The firecracker scene, where the camera zoomed in really quick.
That was amazing.
That was a super atmospheric Halloween feeling scene that we didn't give credit for. But apart from that, not a whole lot of Halloween as far as the holiday goes atmosphere.
No,
but it was such a great movie.
I never felt like the movie itself lended anything to the atmosphere of Halloween. Like when I was watching it, it just felt like a cool movie that I was watching. It didn't really put me in the spirit of Halloween, so to speak.
Except the opening.
Except for maybe, but even because it's
the lettering
it's
and
a
all.
goddamn pumpkin. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's gonna put you in at least for Thanksgiving. Like I want some turkey. But now, watching it though, like you can tell as you pointed out, fans made the movie. Like, and that's what stands out to me is the fact that fans made the movie. They went into it caringly, and they crafted a story that people of the like mind would get behind, and also smartly was able to bring in new audience members that maybe didn't watch any of the Halloween franchise or didn't watch anything after Halloween 1. They were able to bring back, you know, the 1978 crowds or people that may have watched the 1981 Halloween 2. They were able to do it in a way, leaving these little pins in that people could hook on really quick and be like, oh, that's what you're talking about. Okay, I'm into it. Because they didn't make it where it was closed off. Like if you make a movie that's only for fans, then you close off a giant part of your audience. If you make a movie that's too new, that people are like of the fans, and you say, hey, go wipe your ass, fuck your butt, then you lose all those audience members. You lose hardcore fans. They were able to find that perfect line right in the middle where it feels good and fuck the shit out of it. And that's the best part of it is the fact, to me, again, that it was fan-made. But with a better budget and with people that cared about the script, that cared about the photography, the cinematography, the way that Michael looked, the way that it was shot. They had an actor in James Jude Courtney that cared about how Michael moved. James Jude Courtney actually said that he studied cats. Like James Jude Courtney studied fucking cats to see how they moved. And like, yeah, like he did. Yeah, what's the damn problem? But no, he said he studied cats and the way that they're lithe and they're like weird and how they move around and they, you know, the way he looks and stuff. And, you know, he said, yeah, he studied cats for a while. He's like, I know that sounds weird, but that's what he did. He did research for the role just to kind of incorporate that into the movement of Michael Myers.
I mean, I know they wanted him to have cat-like movements, but did he literally say,
No,
he
literally said he studied, he just watched the cat's butthole. Like, I don't know. I mean, it'd be weird.
That's one thing I never saw.
No, he really did that. Like, I don't know if it was like a lie, like, I don't know if it was on the internet, but it was like a written interview or whatever. But he said he studied cats. And if you look at the Elrod scene, he kind of does look like a fucking cat. When he walks in and he's like, what? And then he walks over and kills that bitch with a hammer, and then he walks back, and when he picks up the knife, and he's like, us. Like, it looks like a fucking cat. It kind of seems like a cat kind of reflexes and movement. But, again, James Jude Courtney, without a doubt, stole the show. Jamie Lee Curtis is amazing as well. But to me, every time that he was on screen, Michael Myers, if he had been a shitty Michael, I'd be like, get off. I mean, I would still want to see Michael, but still be like, you're doing a really bad job. He was just really good.
He's in my he's somewhere
number 2
in the gamut of between Nick Castle and Tyler Mane.
Yeah, he's right there. So again, 2018 Halloween. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely go check it out. It's our number 3 on.
It's not perfect, but we fucking like it.
It's a lot. Now,
Michelle Mabel.
number 2,
Number 2.
getting at your
This was
ass.
tough. This was tough, man. Halloween 4 as number 2, our number 2 movie in the Halloween franchise is really fucking hard for me. There was a time just a few years ago where I disliked this movie a lot more than I do now. But there's just, you can't deny.
There's some magic about it.
And again, this when I say that this is our favorite and not the best, this movie comes into play more than any other movie because Halloween 4 has such glaring fucking issues and it is a broken movie at times. And they did stupid fucking things at times, like not even noticing that Michael's fucking mask was pink with white hair at one point for an entire scene, and then leaving it in the goddamn movie like, what the fuck?
That was a terrible idea.
Michael's mask sucked.
That was the original mask, by the way. That they
I know.
in that one scene.
And Michael's mask sucked from beginning to end. This movie, that mask sucks. It's like Captain Surprise. I got a finger in my butt face. Like he looks like he just accidentally sharded, like constantly.
Why did you do that?
He looks like he was frozen with fucking. Like,
he looks like
he was frozen with what do you think? What are those things? You packing peanuts.
He looks like Data from Star Trek.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's
bad.
Every time I look at him, he looks like Data from Star Trek. You go back and watch the Next Generation Star Trek Data. That's what his mask
But
was
I
like.
can't get over, man. I can't get over when I think about the Halloween franchise. The number one thing that pops in my head is Halloween 4. I don't know if it was the timing. I don't know what the fuck it was. It's definitely the atmosphere.
Yeah.
The opening that we homaged in our horror month intros this year. The opening is so fucking atmospheric. Dr. Loomis is
He's not all the way crazy, but he's getting there.
This movie was when Halloween turned from 2 good movies into a franchise that we know and love today. I think this was the turning point. This bridged the gap between an original amazing scary movie and amazing characters, lasting characters with fun sequel craziness. It was just that weird bridge gap that just, to me, this movie is the DNA. It is the strand that is the Halloween franchise.
I think this is the most seasonal Halloween movie ever. I think it puts you right in the fucking driver's seat of Halloween. In October, and the leaves are changing, and it's falling, and it's got that nice crisp day. Halloween 4 captures that all in a fucking film. Like, it captures all of that. It does feel like a Halloween day when you're watching this movie.
Smack my ass and call me Susan.
And then fucking call up Tony if you need a threesome. Tony.
Hey, you call Tony for your threesome? Is it 2 girls, 2 guys? Hey, I don't care. I'll do whatever you want. Tony.
Oh, do you want some pizza?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah. But Michael's mask is dog shit. It's dog shit. Dr. Loomis, Donald Pleasance, again, the guy does no wrong as far as I'm concerned. I think he's played that character consistently. Unfortunately, he died, but he played that character consistently throughout the entire part of Halloween. But overall, like, it's got, and Daniel Harris is a great child actor. The mask really takes away from it. The story, I mean, it works though. Honestly, when like I thought that the very beginning of the movie, it's weird how these movies always seem to go with this trend. The very beginning of the movie when Michael's in the bandages and he's in the hospital and the guy was like, "There ain't no Jesus here."
Oh, that's great.
Like, it was cool, man. The way they're setting it up, and then when the gurney goes down the handicap access, and you get that bump 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 bump, and they're going to the ambulance. Dude, I'm like, fuck yeah, titties are hard, and I'm ready to get to it.
Stick your thumb in that motherfucker's forehead, Jim.
Oh shit! I totally forgot to wear panties. Whatever it was.
You can reach me through the local police.
Yes. But yeah, there was something about that scene, and then it's so cool. And then Michael gets up, and he's vicious as fuck in this movie too.
Yeah.
Again, totally different from your mom and pop's fucking Halloween, because he sticks a fucking finger through that guy's brain or his forehead. He's like, "Let me feel your fucking brain. Let me feel it." Oh yeah, you got a small one. Immediately, you're like, "Damn, this is weird. This is getting rough and it's getting vicious, and I like it. I'm liking what I'm seeing."
Michael wants to
and then again, I think one of the coolest interactions of all the franchises happened in this movie as well. Halloween 6 had, to me, the best death scene with the strobe lights. Just think, hands down, the best death scene. To me, the best interaction between Dr. Loomis and Michael Myers happens in this movie at the gas station.
Gas station scene.
Yeah, that has got to be #1 interaction, because the way he was like, Mike, like he says this, like it's really like a soft kind of plead with him at first, and he sees him, right? And he's like, "If you're another victim, take me. But leave those people alone, Michael Haddonfield."
And then he's like, "Never mind, I shoot your ass."
And he's like, "I gotta learn it, God, boom!" And then, Michael disappears. Now, the only thing that got me about that scene is that Michael disappeared in front of Loomis, because Loomis was looking straight at him, right? And then when he shoots, Michael's just gone. Yeah. So, I mean, at this point, we're full on in supernatural territory because Michael literally just got blown the fuck up in Halloween 2, and he's back in this after being in a coma. For whatever reason, he wakes up to go seek out Jamie. But anyway, you get this cool gas station thing, and then he goes up, he plows into Haddonfield, and you get introduced to Daniel Harris earlier than that, but still, man, the movie itself just fucking, it feels so like Halloweenish. I don't know how else to explain it, man. It just feels so fall-like, and it's put together well. It's crafted lovingly.
Yeah.
It feels like it came from, like I feel the same way watching this movie is when someone smells a pumpkin spice candle. Ah, it's Halloween. Like it just feels like fall.
I think if the original,
It's like coming home.
if the original Halloween is the grenade, Halloween 4 is the linchpin to the rest of the franchise. I don't know.
It's a great movie.
Again,
I mean,
it's not the second best movie in the franchise.
No.
But it's my second best favorite. And that's what this list is about. So, Halloween 4, fuck me in the ass. Halloween number 1 is obviously Halloween. The original.
Oh, we put that piece of shit first.
Yeah. and it's very simple. This is probably the shortest one we talk about. In all honesty, Halloween is number 1.
What can you say? It's number 10.
It's a 10. Halloween, yeah, it's a 10, man. And the thing about Halloween that none of the sequels can or ever will do is match that feel of the first time Michael Myers' mask is shown. The first time you meet Dr. Loomis, the first time you meet Jamie. It's got more of that. This little kid, as we've explained. This little kid, for no reason, is a force of evil. You don't know why. It's got the most mystery of any of the movies. Yep. It explains less than any of the other movies that do. And Michael Myers showing up as a new character in this world, killing babysitters for no reason, stalking.
My hero.
It's this weird. It's almost sexual.
What?
Yeah, it's almost.
I never got sexual.
No, I got sexual. The way he kills his sister right after she has sex. There's more mystery, intrigue, and authenticity in that fucking movie than in almost any other movie, horror movie, other than Exorcist, maybe horror movie I could think of ever. It's Halloween 1978, man.
To me, it reinvents the slasher genre. Up to that point, you'd always had killers besides Psycho. Jason Voorhees being the number 1 guy I'm going to talk about in this example. The fact that just this bulking moron kind of guy running around slashing people and killing them without reason or rhyme and just doing it, as whatever. Like, okay, you came in my camp, you fucked, and now I'm gonna kill your tits. Michael Myers grew up in a suburban neighborhood, seemingly in a well-to-do home. For no reason whatsoever, on Halloween night, kills his sister, stabs her 16 times. Holds a fucking blade outside waiting for his parents, and then spends 15 years locked up in a psychiatric hospital, not saying a word, staring at a wall for 15 years. And then just, for whatever reason, an inner alarm bell goes off at 21 to go kill his sister. And then the mask they chose, the way they shot it, John Carpenter's smooth, mysterious, mystique kind of way that he shoots these films works so well. It lends itself so well. The fact that the music is incredible, and it builds up the tension to a degree where you're like, holy fuck, what's going to happen? To even like the Nick Castle little things that John Carpenter didn't even ask for. The fact that he turns his head side to side in that classic scene.
A lot of it's a happy accident.
Yeah, he turns, that was Nick Castle. That wasn't even written in the script. John Carpenter didn't even know he was going to do that. But the fact that a monster, what Michael Myers is essentially, is just a pure force of evil that's a monster, will turn and kind of like lovingly look at his handiwork as he stabbed that guy stuck against the wall. A classic scene. Dude, there's so many things about this. You could literally spend an hour talking about the cool parts and why it works and what they shot and how they shot it. The lighting effect, the guy, him coming out of the shadows to attack Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode. Amazing. Dude, like this movie is without a doubt a number 10. And I think overall solidifies to me, or maybe to you as well, that's why it's the best franchise out of Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th. Period. Like, it's just the best. I mean, it's the number 1 to me ever. It does what the other slashers couldn't do. It reinvents the genre in a way that the others follow. Nightmare on Elm Street came out in 1984, and it did its own thing, and it was great. I love Nightmare on Elm Street, but it did its own thing. But I think the gold standard is the 78 Halloween.
Yep, it's the best. Halloween is it's the Godfather to a series that has 11 movies instead of 3. And if you want to go into what it's Godfather as far as the horror genre goes, it's a lot more. It's the Godfather. It's the Godfather of slashers, man.
Sure smoke a lot. Ha
So, guys, that is our rankings. You don't have to agree with them. Don't expect you to agree with them. Won't argue with them if you put Rob Zombie's H2 above 1978 Halloween. You do you, man.
Asshole.
Fucking do you. I love it. Fuck
It's
yeah.
cool. Yeah, we don't have any
There's
hate.
no reason to fight each
There's
other
no hate here.
about this kind of thing. You know, we all love Halloween and we love Michael Myers. And if you don't, then you're not watching this video right now, especially at this point. So let's love each other and touch each other at the butt. As we mentioned earlier, just slowly tickle your butt with a feather. Have a friend do it. Bop it, sock it.
Bop it.
Sock
Pull
it.
Split it. Spring it. Flick it. I don't know.
Guys, Halloween Horror Month's been a blast.
We've had a great time.
Like, this is one of the
coolest months ever.
For
us.
Deep.
But every October month is always fun for us, and we've got the experience with so many of you cool motherfuckers that are tuning in now and watching us or listening to us. And you guys stay sexual. You guys stay awesome. And you know what? We'll keep this train going. Like, it doesn't matter. We're going to go into November. We got some things we got to take care of, but it's going to be fucking even better. Not better. I can't promise that, okay? Not better than October. I mean, what gets better than October except for Christmas presents?
Yeah. And if you guys have been listening to us just for the Halloween content, remember,
we're
not going anywhere just because Halloween 2018 came back. Again, we've been doing this for 6 years, and we've been talking about Halloween the entire time. We didn't just jump on this fucking train because it became popular. We'll be talking about Halloween when no one else is talking about it. I guarantee it.
Like, well, you know what? You know they released that H60? We'll be doing that.
Yeah,
H60.
that'll be us.
But anyway, you guys are fucking great. Thank you guys so much for all your patience, all your lovings, all your time, all your sexual desires. This October has been a blasty blast, and I hope you guys are having a great Halloween. And you say sexual, San Francisco. And go fuck yourself, San Diego.
We love your fucking faces. Thank you guys for all the support and all the amazingness that's come our way this month and through the entire 6 years of our YouTube careers. That sounds great, huh? Say that.
When you say it out loud.
Yeah, I know.
Makes you feel like a loser.
Fuck me in the shit. No, I'm proud of it. I'm very, very proud of it. But it just sounds funny when you say it out loud. We love your fucking faces. If you're new to the channel for some goddamn reason and you're still listening, click that subscribe button and get some goddamn wham up in it.
Right in your butthole. Or your vagina hole.
Ooh.
Made you pregnant.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie. Yeah. You know what? We did a review. We watched a movie. We watched a movie.